Yeah, welcome. I don't think I'll have anybody on here because I was literally like very, very last minute. There you go. Very spontaneous. Like if you actually anybody who knows me, I'm very spontaneous. So here we are on this live. First off, I just want to say what an amazing season. Woo! That was exciting. As an NBA fan, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That was very exciting. I guess yeah, you say conference semifinals, and then you go. We won the division. Like that's really cool. That's you right there. At least like you win the division, number 1 seed. That's pretty cool in the Western Conference. And then unfortunately we did. Oh gosh, I'm trying not to text. Oh, this is so bad, people. But I'm being bougie and I'm doing Instacart because it's over an hour to get to my destination. So I'm trying to like do groceries before. I feel like if I don't eat out, then I could spend money on groceries being delivered. That's just my feel. I don't know. You guys can comment below if you think that way. If that's what you think. Okay. Let's see here. I thought there was something else, but I think that's it. Okay. Right? Hold on, people. I'm sorry. This is supposed to be like a really good live right now. Can refund. Oh, I'm getting caught by texting and driving. This is so bad, people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, anyway, so had a great season. Pretty much healthy. That was really awesome. So I have neglected, not purposeful, but I haven't responded to anybody's text or not text. I've always text people back. They're like messages on LinkedIn and like Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Apologies. It was really busy. It's when I say it was really busy, like yo, it was really busy. So we're obviously in our off season right now. I'm not going to disclose any information on like the actual team. I'm not dumb. And for any spies out there, no, I don't tell business about the team. But I thought it was really cool because I think it was just more of just being consistent on like sports medicine stuff, as those who are in physical therapy or athletic training, just like being consistent with like treatment and consistent with like assessing and having people on staff that will push your buttons to say, hey, did you check this, and this? Did you assess this? Did you do a movement assessment? Even if they have no issues or pain, like, did you work on that? I think that's been like great. Thank you, Victor. Yes, we had a really great season. It was awesome. I think it was like really cool just to experience the intensity, but also at the same time how calm the players are, like, and how calm like you as a person. So I was so grateful just to be around these players, but obviously work on them, and just how calm and peaceful, as the stakes are high, as you know, there's bumps and bruises that happen and you're trying to get them ready for the next day or the next game or practice. A couple times staying up a little after midnight, getting some stuff done, getting treatment in. But like, I will ultimately say these players are so respectful group of men that I've ever gotten to work with. Obviously, there were some returning players, so obviously I got to work with them for a few years now. And this is just reflection on the season. Like, it was awesome. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, just be able to have front row seats, like, I'm very grateful. I thank the Lord, like, that I had the opportunity to get front row seats at a basketball game for the number 1 seed. I'm saying a lot. Let me focus on what I'm saying. it was just an awesome experience. And then just the little things of like medically what you encounter. I did again, dang. Medically what you encounter for like anything when stakes are high, thinking about like what are you going to do to have a quick turnover for like a bruise or a quick turnover for something, right? There's not that much time. And then especially the last series that we had, there was a game every other day basically. It wasn't like the first round of playoffs where you got a couple days in between. So it's like, hey, what can you do to get them like as best as you can? Like no one's 100% on any team. So Dallas Mavericks playing, like if you think about Minnesota Timberwolves, like no one's 100%, so you're just trying to do the best you can to make sure the players are safe and just available, and you're not doing that by yourself. So I always want to make sure that's clear. Like it's a teamwork approach. Like I'm very grateful for the people I work with. So I've talked to others about this. Like we have athletic trainers, we have physical therapists, we have strength conditioning coaches or specialists, and working with the assistant coaches as well. So sometimes it's great to have conversations, have a relationship with the assistant coaches, because you get an idea of, hey, we've been still wanting to work on this. Like as a player, they're still working on things on the court, just like we're working on things off the court, where it could be range of motion or how they move. That stuff that continues to get worked on. You know their deficits, you know what they need to work on. And for us, it could be just range of motion in their hips, or we notice like things, we notice the baseline and we compare it to the baseline. We know how it is after a back-to-back game, which was during the regular season, not playoffs. Then you compare their body maybe like during the playoffs, and after like an opponent, say if there's an opponent that's like very, like they're known to be scrappy. I won't name names of teams. They're known to be scrappy, and you're trying to prepare the body afterward, optimize them for the game, but then protect them. But like padding and stuff like that, like basketball players want to wear the least amount of padding to feel nice and light, but there's still ways, great products out there that help in that sense. And then after the game, or accumulation of games, or like a playoff run, now let's figure out how do we calm the body down, basically. How do we get the body to recover as quickly as possible to get ready for the next game? So that was like really exciting. It was really cool, because obviously you're not treating these players as just players, as like not just an investment, or because they make certain amount of money, like you need to do X, Y, and Z, or treat them anything different besides a person. So I look at all these players, no matter the ethnicity or race, I treat them like this is like my brother. What would I want my brother to do, undergo? How would I treat my brother, my family member, stuff like that. Like that's basically, I think that's what helps. I think honestly that's what helps with the respect as well, because they know that you care about them and you're not going to put them in harm's way, nor are you going to introduce something to their system that is something that will, you know, backlash or have an issue with. So I think it's been great. I appreciate it. You're in Atlanta. I'm a huge Hawks fan. I'm actually in Atlanta right now. I just came from the airport in the rental car. Young team, yes, very young team, great direction. Everybody's great. When I say everybody's great, like I think just speaking of them as people, like I can't talk about injuries or anything like that, but just awesome people. It's been great. So now a lot of our players, as most of the league, they're international players. So now this is the time where a lot of people, even if you're like Denver Nuggets right now, you're probably preparing for national team. And I think that's so awesome to play for your country. And even if your medical staff, to be able to work for your country, or if it's USA basketball, or it doesn't have to be basketball, but obviously I love basketball, so I'm talking about basketball. Canada, like all the different countries you can think of, like the NBA has that much representation. It's like awesome to know now these players are about to get ready for the national team, and Paris is basically around the corner. Like that's so exciting how there's going to, like, those who were in the playoffs, like, there needs to be, just like with any strength conditioning or any type of program that you could think of loading as well. It doesn't have to be strength conditioning. It could be just loading in general. And loading means like not just loading in a weight room, but like impact load, like the mileage you're putting on your body, your mental health, your sleep, your rest, all that stuff. There has to be a down period of some type of recovery. So for me, this is my recovery right now. Working remotely, so I got some stuff I gotta work on and do. The cool thing is, like, with the NBA, there's still committees and meetings to do and be a part of, so that's something that I am excited about, that I can still be a part of committees and work and clean up some other notes and stuff I need to like work on, but at least I can do it away, so that's been cool. So yeah, so now as these players are probably getting ready for national team, it's exciting to root them on. It's exciting if you're a medical person that gets to volunteer or do any of those things. I know I've talked to some students about, and it doesn't have to be during this time, but say if, you know, if you ever get the opportunity, when I'll like try to post things on LinkedIn all the time, and if it's something like the US Olympics or Paralympics or anything that deals with, hey, you want to be a fellow, a resident, an intern, do the best you can, take advantage of it. I know I also sent something like P3, but if you're not like in the performance science space, or you don't, that's not what appeals to you, that's not, you don't have to do that. Performance science is not something I've been privy to perform. I think I've got more of introduction and more training that was working alongside performance science, and like schooling dealt with like dealing with some topics in that, and I think general. It's not like I have a master's in performance science or anything like that, so I would never act like I know everything with that. But it's great to have staff, I say staff, like coworkers I can learn from, and to teach me things and talk about like impact load and how, like, you know, the practices, you know, need to be higher intensities to work on not just acute chronic loads, and your capacity and your tissue capacity, and just the mental load that comes with it, and preparing for games, also making sure like you're ready to go, you're staying available. That's basically, I think that's been cool, learning all those things. And also the other things of like impact load, like the different devices that have come out and been validated, and being able to use that. You see some of them in the college setting, you may see it in, like, I've seen a lot in soccer and stuff like that, but being able to integrate that in other sports has been cool, like not just rugby or outdoor sports, now basketball, and being able to utilize that, not just like simple as like catapult. Well, catapult's not simple, but like catapult is amazing. And just some of the other things that I've just learned, that it's been awesome, like that you don't have to wait for someone to have an injury to actually learn these things and understand like what is being measured, what is being observed. So that's been really cool. Trying to think of anything else, but it's been interesting trying to like fit nutrition, getting all that situated. But I've been continuing to work out, and training, and clothes are fitting better. I know this angle of the camera is not probably like the best view, but it's been cool knowing that you have to pour into others, and that could include staff. So that doesn't just include just players. It's not like we just work with players and we're in silos. We work with one another. So the great thing is when you get to know your coworker, because you're going to be around them, you're around your coworkers more than you are your family. Like, you're around these coworkers 90% of the time. This is probably the only time we get away by getting like a couple weeks off. But understanding your coworker and knowing like if they're having a tough day, or understanding like their body language, and knowing like how you can reach out to them and fill their cup. This is what we say a lot at work: fill your cup. I have a really cool coworker. He's really good on picking up on stuff like that, and obviously there's a lot of us that are good at that. And just being present and taking the time, where it's like, okay, yeah, we treat players, but if we don't take the time to treat each other with respect and just taking that time with them, even if it's at work. Not saying you have to go hang out with your coworkers outside of work. Like, it makes a huge difference. And I think that's why a lot of the players that have come from college, because obviously a lot of people know we have a very young team. We have a very young team. Some of them coming from university is like, wow, like you guys look like you actually like each other. And I was like, really? Where'd you come from? They, like, your medical performance or whatever staff didn't like each other? He was like, he said, I have a good time relaxing in the training room. And I was like, wow, like, that's awesome to hear. Didn't know, like, that's something, well, I should have known, like, because it's personalities that have to mesh. There's, like, people, there's egos, that's everywhere. And it's been cool just to hear the player's perspective. Like, yeah, I really like being in the training room, even if I don't get any treatment, just to hang out in the training room and just talk with you guys. And you guys are always having a good time, but you always get your work done. And that means a lot. So it's not like us just having a party in the training room, but we're getting the work done, and then also working on not being too loud or anything like that, but just letting the player, like, lead discussion and interact with them, and helps them relax and just enjoy what they're about to do, because as they relax, their tissues relax. As their tissues relax, helps them optimize to what their movement they're going to do to prepare for what they're going to do on the court. So I almost call it like a synchronization. So it almost is like a reset when they're like chilling, relaxing, mentally, emotionally. They may share you some things that are personal. Obviously, that won't go anywhere. But it's been really cool. And Lauren, congratulations. That is amazing. Wow, in June. So yeah, let's shift gears real quick. So this question basically says, starting PT school, any advice? So if I take that you don't have any background in physical therapy, my advice would be different than someone who probably had some type of background in physical therapy. So when I say that is, I don't know if you were ever injured as a player or anything like that, or if you ever took physical therapy, or in your undergrad degree, I don't know if there was any pre-physical therapy or sports medicine stuff, like subjects you had to work on. But say if you didn't, I've met a lot of people in PT school that had art history as a major, very successful now, by the way, but there's even more that there's two others that I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could major in anything undergrad. They did so well in PT school. I think because of their background was something different, they were able to just have a different perspective and insight. It's like not so black and white. And I think I had more of a science background, and I'm more of like a science nerdy weirdo with like wanting to know like everything is black and white. But I would say in PT school, which you learn a lot, yes, the anatomy and physiology, which you probably already had experience with, that obviously is usually a prereq for PT school. That's the only thing I think that's kind of like, okay, this bone, this tissue, this origin, this insertion, this is the action, this is the innervation, all that stuff. Those are the things that obviously you got to memorize, do whatever you got to do to help get that going. But it's going to make so much sense when you put it together with the cadaver. It is like, it's so helpful. And then they got the fancy cadavers now where I think they use teal or something like that instead of the formaldehyde, where the body's not stiff and you can actually move the body and understand like, oh, the teres minor does this, or this muscle does that, or wow, like I didn't know that blood vessel was like this, or it's so it's like bigger in diameter than I thought, or this nerve is that common perineal nerve is like wow, I can imagine like if you hit a cooler on the side of your leg why that would hurt, or you get a little zinger. So that's the type of stuff in PT school. I was really grateful to get that that hands-on, that visual. Usually if you're in the physical therapy realm, you're like a hands-on person, you're visual, you got to feel things, move things around for you to learn. So I think that usually everybody gets that in their first year. Anatomy, physiology, anatomy lab, all that stuff, and it's been cool. The other thing advice I would say is like, do not be hard on yourself. There was so many. I went to Emory, shout out to Emory University for physical therapy, but it doesn't matter which school you go to. Everybody's hard on themselves. Like, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna make it. And if you feel like you're struggling, there's always a professor, even if they're in like a different subject of physical therapy in the department that can help you, and also like your fellow classmates. That's another thing. Like finding small groups was helpful. I don't like small groups. I know I'm a weirdo because we usually get off on topics and we're talking about what we're gonna eat for that day and what's coming up on the weekend. But if you can find a small group that actually is focused on just different personalities, that's helpful, or just different things you guys can get an idea of what you need to work on and study. It was helpful to know, like, oh, I heard that in class, and the other person's like, oh, I didn't hear that in class. So you kind of help each other, like getting information and gaining an understanding, especially if someone has a different background. So I had an athletic training background, so for me, to be quite honest, I cruised along my first year because a lot of it was like so heavy on anatomy, physiology, a lot of things that was like, okay, I need to brush up on myself. Let me not act like I know everything. But it was very helpful, so it wasn't my first time experiencing, like someone who had an art history major or a business major that we had in school, and this was their first time. So I think it made it a little bit challenging for them, but they took the time to study and put in that work. I will say it was a lot of reading the first year, so just balance that out. But please know what your hobby is. Know what your outlet is. You need to find that. Like, I know obviously if you're an undergrad, you had to find some type of outlet, but make sure wherever you go, which it says that you're going to OU, which is awesome. I think that's what you said, OU. I think I said that correctly. If that's where you're going, like trying to find that outlet that will help you for sports, studying, reading, like anything, hobbies, like anything you think of. So and then in a day, like take it one day at a time. And if you can get early into observing, and that literally could be at the university. When I say at the university, you're probably thinking like, what if on the sports side? You don't have to. You can just get some type of observation. That'll be very helpful, because then you can put that on your resume, and then it actually shows that you have taken the time to actually get into the field and not just be a student. However, your first year, don't worry about like having to observe and volunteer right off the bat. Just get your feet underneath you and just recognize like where you are. So I don't know if you're from that area where you're going to school, because that's another thing, because that is another, you have to adapt to the city that you're going to, getting understanding of the culture, all that stuff. So like even for me, like PT school was a little easier just because I didn't really go too far. But say like if I went to OU and I'm from Georgia, for example, I can see that, because now I work in Oklahoma, I can see that being like a huge like, whoa, this is a little different. And it could literally just be like the people, nothing wrong with the people, it's just different. Where it's like Georgia's like becoming more and more like a melting pot. So you're like meeting different people, so many different ethnicities and languages, like in one, like you could just pick a city in the metro part of Atlanta or Georgia, Fulton County, DeKalb, whatever. Everybody's all over the place, different. So all that stuff plays a role. So I will say, like, you know, don't be hard on yourself. And if it's someone that you can, and I say connect, meaning like, I always start as simple as saying LinkedIn, because I know when I was in PT school, I got my LinkedIn. I was like, I'm going to, you know, I would say put your, when I say your resume, not like every single detail of your resume, but put like the schools that you're going to, like even put your goals up there. Even in the bio, put what you want to do. You can say like, I'm a first year or a second year PT student at this university, But I would start, when I say follow people, yeah, you could follow them on LinkedIn, but if you can connect with them, press that connect button. I know from experience, so, and also because I've been busy, so I apologize too. I remember sending messages galore to these people. Hey, I see you on LinkedIn. You're working here. And it's usually like some professional sports. And I'm like, hey, working here. Like, this is awesome. Like, you know, what did you do to get there? Whatever. So a lot of times if they put it on their LinkedIn, I'm just watching their LinkedIn and just getting an idea of like their virtual resume. Because I didn't get any answers back. No messages back. So And I think now being in this setting, I feel like I used to have a little bit more time. Now it's just like, I don't know if it's more people that have been reaching out. I haven't had time to actually individually message people or reply back to everyone. A lot of our students, and I think that's amazing that we're increasing the profession, increasing the amount of people in the profession, and those who want to get into sports, those who want to get in professional sports. And I have plenty of other videos, and I think that's really the main reason why I started this YouTube channel, because like I can't get everybody. And so a lot of times I say, hey, just get to my YouTube. And then of course I then got busy and didn't make so many videos. However, all the other videos they're still valid, they're still good. But like PT school, or do I do a residency, do I do not, or do I do a fellowship? Do I need any of it? Do I need to go back and do my athletic training, or should I just not do athletic training? What if I don't want to do sports and I end up focusing on sports at first? All those things are that I put on the YouTube in those videos, and especially in those lives. Or if I had a Q&A, like I'll literally post I didn't physically post it, but I'll read the question and then answer it, and did it that way just to help as many people as I can, just because it's been, I'm about to hit my head with this visor. That's smart. It's been a journey because I didn't have anyone to help me get through this process, and I thank God for allowing me to be here, and I don't know what's next. So, but I would like to do my best to help other people, and I know that I can't be effective or efficient by individually measuring, like messaging, really? There we go. Messaging people, just because I can't get to everyone. And even if I reply, then there's always a response back. And then I feel like, dang, like I really wanted to like talk to this person. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm not answering them, but it's like the YouTube, it helps. So like as simple as like me driving right now, if you know about Georgia, if you know about the Atlanta or this area, there is traffic. And then on top of that, it is Memorial Day weekend-ish. So the traffic, thank God, going the other way is really bad. It finally cleared up on this end. So I can like be on YouTube. I can talk to you guys. I don't have to look at the screen. Unfortunately, you're seeing the side of my head. But I can at least get to like the questions and messaging and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do that. I know I'm not even off for that long. When I say off, I'm still working, but it's going to be more virtual because we can be away for about 10, 12 more days. So that's something I'm trying to do a little bit more of. And I know I have to meet some people here too. There's unfortunately some people I haven't even told I've been here yet. So sorry if you're seeing this video, I have not told you I'm here yet in the state of Georgia. But I will try to figure out to make a way to say hi, even if it is virtually. But in a rental car, we could probably make that happen. But also I need to make sure I spend some time with family and take the time to, say hi and stuff like that. So in the meantime, someone said something. Hold on here. There we go. Make sure. Let's read this here. Wait, does that say cash out win? Nice. Thank you for being part of keeping our team very healthy this season, especially our superstars. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Just know it's a team effort. I will say I don't usually act alone. So that's what's so great about a team. And I think it's like, there's people that you mainly work with and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for the team that I work with. I feel like personality-wise, obviously with the players meshed really well, but with the staff, like the core that you work with, like I think that's so important. I'm not trying to say like you don't have moments where your personalities, or you may have a bad day or whatever. Like sometimes it doesn't mesh, but there are, I guess, just hearing these players talking about like where they came from, and I was just like, wow, like they'll say I avoided the training room, or another would just be like, yeah, like you guys actually seem like you like each other, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't know you came from somewhere that it didn't come off like you guys liked each other, or meaning like the medical staff or performance. they weren't meshing well. And I was like, man, that's kind of, when I say sad, like, that's like almost unfortunate, because at the end of the day, it's like we're working on these players, whether a college player or, oh, did it connect? It reconnected. So, Northwest, we clinched the Northwest Division. I said that a little bit earlier, so that was pretty cool. It's been awesome. So at the end of the day, we'll see what is next for these players. I know we talked about national teams coming up. I know for me, I'm going to just take it one step at a time. Everybody knows the NBA draft's coming up. It got pushed back a little bit. June 26th, 27th, like over 2 days. Kind of cool. I'm not even gonna lie, that's exciting. Like, as an NBA fan, like, that's pretty darn exciting. Trying to think. So obviously there would be draft workouts. Like, every team, it would be doing draft workouts right now. Draft workouts, doing calls to athletic trainers and colleges, universities. Like, thank you for all the people that have answered the phone. Thank you for everybody who's answered the phone. Like, this is a cool time. Like, if you are like a college athlete, knowing like you could be drafted, like, that's so exciting. Just think about it. And the draft's coming up really soon. Oh, shout out to my older brother for his birthday. You can tell I'm like sleep deprived getting it together. My older brother, I'm gonna go ahead and shout him out on the YouTube, on the tubes. But I'm about 13-ish minutes away from my destination. If no one has any other questions or comments, I think it's pretty much it. Like, really nothing much to just reflect on. Like, it was an amazing season. I mean, if you think about the rebuild and then you think about being there from the jump, like, I'm very grateful. Completed 5 seasons. Like, that's crazy. Like, God is amazing. Like, front office staff, like the general manager, for you allowing me to even be here. Like, that's amazing. To see like the rebuilds and like all of the people, like staff that had to move on, players that we had coming in, players that remained with us throughout the entire playoffs that we end up having. We had the play-in last year, right? And then playoffs. Like, it's something that I'm like, wow, thank you, God, for that experience. Like, it's an honor, right? Like, I don't want to take this for granted. Like, there's a lot of people who play basketball or, other sports that never make it to the playoffs, let alone a medical worker to be in this environment and experience it, and just the demands that come with it. That's different than the regular season. So I did tell the players thank you, but like, that's awesome. So I think that's it. Like, that's everybody. Thank you, everybody who reached out. I will be working on these DMs. Okay. I appreciate everybody's, patience, but I have work stuff to do too. So that needs to come first. I literally popped on here because I've been driving for, it's like basically like an hour drive. So that's why I popped up on here. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done a live because I need to catch up on a lot of work stuff. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm about to go find a random coffee shop, but I have not been in Tucker in so long, so a lot of this does not look familiar. Some of it does. So anyway, appreciate you guys, and I think everybody is logged off, so I'm gonna log off as well. And take care. See you guys in the next video.